Thieves in the law, or lawmen as they are known, are the elite of the criminal world, of the criminal underworld. They enjoy considerable authority among criminals. Few thieves of the law have lived to be old and dead, as many of them have been murdered. And the reasons for the elimination of the lawmen are many: wars amongst the elites of the criminal world, and the redistribution of spheres of influence, and even the struggle of the authorities with them. Where did they come from? It is worth saying that there are no analogues of thieves in the law in the rest of the world. They exist only in the post-Soviet space. This criminal category appeared back in the 1930s. Of course, before them there were already authorities and personalities with whom the whole criminal world reckoned. Thieves in law are the guardians of thieves' traditions with their own concepts, rules that must be obeyed. A thief in the law can only become a thief in the law, and not everyone. It's said that the NKVD may have created this caste of criminals to make it easier to control other prisoners in the prisons, and also to maintain a certain order. The Great Patriotic War. Many thieves in the law joined the Red Army at the beginning of the Great Patriotic War, and many of them were volunteers. They fought not only in punishment battalions. Only 10% of all mobilized prisoners were in punishment battalions. Criminal convictions were removed from criminals who had special distinctions. Anatoly Cherkesyov, a well-known thief in the law at the time, nicknamed Cherkes, received 5 medals and finished his participation in the war as a Knight of the Order of Glory. But after the war, he was caught stealing, hit an operative, and went to prison again. There is even an opinion that he went there to help the frontline soldiers in prison. Vasily Pivovarov, or Salavara, before the war was engaged in smuggling in Odessa. In the war, he was a scout commander. By the way, during the so-called Bitch War, he was an associate of Cherkes. Vasily Grigin, nicknamed Kutuzov during the Great Patriotic War, forced the Danube and even became a hero of the Soviet Union. He got his nickname when he lost an eye during the forcing. The title Thief in Law he received only in 1962 when he was crowned. For this, he was deprived of all state awards. Some historians believe that it was the war that made the thieves in law more brutal. In fierce battles with the enemy, they learnt to kill in cold blood and skillfully, which they later transferred to their thieving life. After the war, there was a split in the criminal community. The point is that it was impossible to fight for the state according to the concepts, and many of the blatniks did it. Accordingly, based on the notions, they became bitchy. When they came from the front, the so-called Bitch War began, where many thieves in law were killed. The number of criminals became much smaller, which was in the hands of the authorities, who, if possible, tried to contribute to this in every possible way. 90s. The 1990s are known for the beginning of the blossoming of the criminal world. The rampant crime was simply unprecedented. Everywhere there were gangs. The newly minted Bratva did not want to respect the thieves' notions, and, naturally, on this ground, there were constant conflicts, which led to a significant reduction in both lawmen and gang members. Brothers do not carry money in the common fund. Crowned authorities do not want to obey. Everywhere set their own rules, engaged in lawlessness, and all issues are solved by shooting or quietly, hiring killers. Of course, the development of such a situation did not please the thieves' authorities at all, and numerous wars began. Thieves in the law of the old school could not fully compete with athletes from organized crime groups. Thus many either retired from business or were killed, or by some miracle joined the new criminal world and further managed criminal processes. Also in the 90s, it became possible to buy the status of thief in law for a lot of money. In the past, this was out of the question. Such thieves were called oranges or lauroshniks. Moreover, most of such authorities were natives of the Caucasus. Naturally, their authority was not particularly honored by real thieves in the law and those close to them. A vivid example of a holder of this status was Otari Kvantrishvili. In 1994, he was shot dead by hitman Alexei Sherstobitov. According to the concepts, Kvantrishvili could not become a thief in law and have authority, as he was serving time for rape. And about the oranges, who were crowned by someone, the question arises: who was paid money for the coronation if other thieves in the law were to do it? The authorities also fought with thieves in the law if they interfered with them. At that time, there were already a lot of people from rival organized crime groups in power. Most often they did not eliminate them physically, but simply made sure that the thieves were sent to the so-called red zones, where strict rules of administration were established and notions did not prevail as in the black zones. Naturally, this was very cruel, as a thief-in-law could not cooperate with the administration and therefore was constantly subjected to various kinds of punishments. Current times. In the modern world in general, not much has changed for thieves in the law. The only thing is that there are far fewer of them. Many have already died, while others have retired and gone abroad. There are also a lot of those who bought their title of thief for money. It must be said that modern lawmen almost do not respect the old thieves' concepts. The most famous thieves in the law. The main drug lord of Russia is Pasha Tsirul. In the 1990s, he was the holder of the dormitory. He received his first sentence at the age of 19 for theft. After his coronation, he became the youngest lawman. Tsirul created his own group and dealt in drugs, weapons, fraud. He died in 1997. Onyani Tariel, nicknamed Taro, entered the criminal life at the age of 17. Onyani was crowned in the 1980s. He was one of the most respected thieves in the law. In the 90s, he moved to Spain, where he was involved in money laundering. He fought with such thieves-in-law as Ded Kasan and Yaponchik. Aslan Usoyan. Ded Kasan is a leader of Caucasian organized crime groups. He received his first conviction at the age of 19. He was engaged in speculation and fraud. He was famous for his ruthlessness. He had a whole squad of killers. Ironically, he himself was shot dead by a hitman. Vyacheslav Ivankov, Yaponchik, trained as a circus performer, but left the stage because of an injury. He received his first sentence for theft at the age of 25, but did not go to serve it because he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He worked for other groups, then created his own. He was involved in burglaries, extortion. In 92, he went to the USA, but then returned to Russia, where he died as a result of an assassination attempt.